Now everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we are going to be progressing our panel for our toolbox and jerry can holder. But first of all, I thought I'd show you something that's going to be happening in future episodes. And I'm going to show you this tyre, which is a 33-inch replica of a an Interturbo Special Track. And this is going to be fitted to this, well, not this particular tyre, but this size tyre is going to be fitted to this particular Niva. At the moment, it's got a 40mm suspension lift on this old girl. That's going to be coming off because I don't like suspension lifts on Nivas because they put a lot of strain on the drivetrain for not a lot of benefit. So that's the plan, fitting 33s without a suspension lift. Now that entails an awful lot of work. It entails full body work, full bubble arches, internal wheel arch tubs being chopped, modified, made bigger. Footage of that is actually available at the beginning of the Red Bear playlist. So all the wheel arch tubs, everything like that, all this is going to be opened up. This wheel arch will end somewhere around here and begin somewhere around here. It'll also go up to this point here. And then the front, the same applies. In fact, that the front wheel arch will, ironically, if you look at the white one, I have the flared arches, and they actually finish nicely at the top here. But I'm actually going to have to build the flared arches into the bonnet area to fit the 33s so that they don't catch. And then the internal wheel arch tub will have to be modified, and maybe some modifications to the front chassis rails. But I am contemplating fitting a tubular front end to the front of this Niva because it's all rotten out on the front anyway, so I might as well make it tubular and build it into the roll cage. So we'll see if that happens or not. Anyway, that's enough of what's happening in the future. Let's get back to making these panels. Right, so we've got our flanged edge folded onto our sheet metal, but what we need to do now is we need to calculate where our bends are going to be, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to take that flanged edge down where we're going to make our radius, which will make it a lot easier to form. It's something that's quite common on Mercedes cars. I've done a lot on Mercedes cars in the past, and they always, wherever they put a tight radius on the sheet metal, they always take a bit of metal away, which makes it easy to form and reduces distortion. It's not something I've seen a lot on Ladas. I have seen it, but not a lot. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the material length that we require for our radius. So we take 30, multiply that by 2, which would give us 60, and then we're going to take that 60 and multiply that by 3.142, which, through the power of pre-calculation, gives me 188.52. But we only need a quarter of that, so we're going to divide that by 4, which gives us 47.13, and we're going to make our life easy and just round that up to 48. Scribble that out. And that is the material required for forming that radius around that edge. Now really what we should do is, like we've done in previous videos, work to a neutral line, but because we've actually got quite a bit of room margin for error, because we've made this bigger than our flange seal holder, then we don't have to worry too much about that. So we can have a little bit of slop and a little bit of room to work with. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our welded joint, that's why I left a bit of a gap on my detailed drawing there. We're going to put our welded joint in the middle at the top. So we need to figure out what that's going to be. So we take our width, which is 215, divide that by 2. 215 minus our 30mm radius from each side, which would be 60, which would give us 155. Divide that by 2, which would give us 77.5. So if we actually draw a line here, is that in camera? Yeah. Our first one is going to be 77.5, and then our next bit's going to be a bend, so we allow 48, and then our next one's going to be a long measurement, so we minus our 2 radiuses again, which would give us 285. So that's going to be 285. And then we have the wind's blowing the camera around, which is handy. Our bend again, 48. And then we have a full width, which would be 155 minusing the radiuses. And then we have another radius, so that would be 48. And I'm into bloody water, so we'll go down here, 48. And then we have a long straight again, which is 285. And then another radius, 48. And then another 77.5 to close our panel up. Now, hopefully that makes sense. It will do, I'm sure. When I start working with the metalwork, it will start to become apparent why I've done that. So that's my markings out now. So I can go transfer them marks onto my sheet metal, ready to form it. Right, so I've marked them all out on our bit of sheet metal. And then I've transferred that. See if I can get this in an angle you can see. I've transferred it up on onto my flange, and then I've marked 5mm in. And what I'll do is I'll just use the flap disc and take that down, and then that'll make that easier for us to form. There you have it. And that's where our radius is going to be formed. So we can now shrink that a lot easier than if it was 10mm thick. And it'll still have the reinforcement in it because it'll have a radius on it. Yeah. Right. So we have got our main body now done. Literally for that, I actually used the die on the bead roller to roll it around, and then just flatten the crinkles, the creases with the plenishing hammer. I didn't get it on video because I was that busy doing it. So now I've tanked the edges with the hammer and dolly, and then it's literally a case of, as in previous videos, tacking all this together and manipulating it into position. And I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm going to let Dale step back inside the building because he currently stood outside in the rain. So yeah, I'll crack on. So there we have it. That is the final project. Well, not the final project, but the assembly of the toolbox component. We literally autogenously welded, so welded without filler rod around the outside, and then blended it in with a flat disc. And then we've just got some high zinc weld through primer. Some of that bad boy stuff. I prefer the copper stuff, but zinc is all the local place had, so we've gone with zinc. And I'm hoping that when we get the spot welder, which we're about to do, we can spot weld through this stuff. But that is the final project. Now, there's a couple of low spots where we have autogenously welded it. And all we'll do is we'll just use a little tiny bit of body filler on there just to blend that in. I could, if I wanted, go over the top of it, but because it's not structural, I'm really not that bothered. Get that spot welded on the main panel. Right, so here we are with the spot welder. This is GYS Porter Spot. Got this years ago. Me and my dad did. And it is, if you do not already own a spot welder and you're going to be doing any kind of car body work, seriously, get yourself a spot welder. Saves you time and effort. Not having to drill all them holes out to plug weld them and everything like that. Makes life so much easier. So the GYS is really fancy because you can actually set it up by material thickness. So because we're spot welding 1.2 to 1.2, we can just set it to 1.2 plus 1.2, and that's all our settings done. If we've got like a bit of an anomaly, we can actually increase the time that it sticks on for. And then if we're welding together some slightly rusty or dirty material, we can put a pulse on, which we might have to do for this zinc primer actually. But that sends like jolts through and cleans the dirt and whatnot away. So let's crack on with it. Just got our assembly mole grip together somewhere near something like, and then get in there and spot weld it. Hopefully it'll work. Ooh yeah. And we'll bang one there for luck. Right, let's pick it up and see it fall apart. All right. I'm not gonna lie, the way it's clanging and pinging isn't exactly inspiring me with confidence. Yeah, I think we're right. Lovely, right? And there we have it. Now, I'm pretty sure if we Google the definition of cool, it will come up with Brian's little jerry can toolbox holder thingy. And I'm very happy with that. That's very cool. All we've got to do now is we've got to make the door. And I think I'm going to make the door so that it covers up this bit here. So it actually extends a bit beyond this edge here. So it'll come to about here, just so it fills in that blank space, because I'm not keen on that. I've just had to do that because the roll cage is going to be right back here. And then we'll make a strap. I'll try and do all that in one video, because this panel has taken up. This will be the third video now, I think. So it's just taking up a bit too much time, really. So I'm going to try and get the strap for holding the jerry can. That'll wipe off, which fits like a glove. The strap for holding the jerry can and the door done in one video, and then I'll see if I can find a seal as well, just to knock on there, make sure it all shuts tip top and prim and proper. But yes, I'm very happy with that. Let me know what you guys think. I think that's really cool. In other news, yesterday, after my little video clip at the beginning of this video about fitting 33-inch tires, I decided to post some pictures on social media. And sometimes I do these things just to start a fire. And I was not disappointed. It was quite good, actually. I had various comments from "it's not possible" to "it can't be done" to "the only thing that's good about this project so far is the colour yellow," which I think is fantastic. And all it does is just stokes me to actually do it and prove that it can be done. So yes, 33s are going on this Niva without a lift. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be done. So if you want to see that happen, please subscribe. It's much appreciated. And if you like what you see in this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next one, cheers for now.
At some point, I'll zoom in on that and then hand back out.
Are we recording?
Yeah, yeah.
We're live.
Yeah. We are live.
We want me to start talking. So there we have it. Yeah. Hold on. Well, look at me first. Can you zoom out so you can get like the majority of stuff in? I'll tell you what. Let me zoom out. It would have if my knee wasn't bad. I've made some right bloopers here, aren't I? Right, so are you recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Right, so